Hey, Bubba. You can't hear him, but he's saying hi. What a
Oh
ding
man,
dong.
he is a ding dong. He's a dirty ding dong. Nope, that sounds gross.
You'd know.
What? Yeah, I do
You'd
know it.
know.
I do know it sounds gross.
No, you'd know what a dirty ding dong looks like, smells like,
Yeah, I would.
acts like.
Yep, I get my ding dong dirty sometimes.
Ugh, gross. His is gross.
I'll bet. I'll
I know.
bet.
After we pod, I'm going to make him an appointment to get groomed next week.
Yeah, are you gonna give him a bath?
Well, it's going to rain all week.
Yeah,
And
he's
so
not a car.
but when he walks in the rain, he trudges up like dirt and debris and wet,
Oh,
dirty sidewalk water all up on his underside.
you know what you got to do? Got to get him some mud flaps,
Bub flaps.
some bub flaps. Just get him there, and then he'll trudge it just on the mud flaps, and then you're good to go.
I mean, you're a genius.
I am a genius. Let's get fucking sharks for 25% of my business.
I
Pup
thought you said,
flaps.
let's get sharks. And I was like, no, we don't need sharks.
No, you
We don't
need
want
sharks.
sharks.
They're good for they're good for marketing. I watched that show so much.
Oh, I
It's
was talking about the animal.
no, I was talking about Shark Tank.
I mean, I know, but I thought we had pivoted and you were on the same page as me talking about the animal, but then
That
we went to
happens a
marketing.
lot. That happens a lot. Where
Then you
you're
said
like,
marketing, and I was like, we're not talking about the same sharks.
no,
The
you haven't.
sharks, the sharks I'm thinking of don't have thumbs.
You haven't. You don't need to have thumbs to have a good marketing brain. You never know. I never saw Sharknado 4. Maybe
But you
it's
got to the first three?
okay. I never saw any of the Sharknados, but
Oh, I was like,
I figure by 4 is when they get to the sharks that are in marketing, where they're like Sharknado of business.
they're just in business school. They're like, God, we have midterms next week.
And I still don't have thumbs.
Number two pencil. How am I supposed to hold it?
Oh, I got to meet this girl's parents, and her dad was a sailor, and he lost his
Oh
friend.
boy.
My cousin killed his friend.
Which it's always usually him. Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back to the
Been a
1
minute.
millionth podcast. It's been so long. We're probably the 999,999th podcast now.
Got him.
I'll edit that out. Anyway, uh, welcome back. I'm Chris Porter.
Hi, who am I? It's been so long.
You're still Andy Porter.
Yes.
You're you all the time, even when you're not on this
Mm,
podcast.
I don't know. You may want to ask my second family about that. They know Shannon Powers.
You don't look like a Shannon.
Yeah.
Maybe a Kim.
Rude.
No, like an 80s Kim, not like a now Kim, like when you were born Kim, like a Kim Basinger.
Okay, I'll take Kim Basinger.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kim Basinger.
I know now it's linked with the Kardashians, and that's unfair to all the Kims of the world.
What, that they get compared to a billionaire? Bummer.
Yeah, slash amateur lawyer, which apparently you can do in California.
I've been doing it for years. I just didn't go to school for it. I've just been amateur lawyering all over the state.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like Steve Harvey does on his new show.
Is he a lawyer on his new show?
No, he's a judge. He's a judge on his new
Oh,
show.
right.
It's like Judge Steve Harvey, and he's like, "You'll just abide by my rules." And fucking survey says you fucking pay her.
Oh man, but none of it's legally binding.
Well, I think the way it works with those shows is they get, they pay them to be on the show, and the settlement comes out of they get their cut of whatever it is. So like if you get
Oh,
$3,000 and you owe them 1,500, then they get your 1,500 and you walk with 1,500.
okay. That
I
sounds like it's not worth it.
I think that's how it works. I mean, I guess if you're the plaintiff and you want to get your money and you assume that, you know, this guy probably can't pay you, might as well get him, you know, here, I'll get you some money so that you can pay me my money. You know what I'm saying?
It's like payday loans, but for court cases.
Yeah. So, I think that's how, because if you read the fucking credits,
First of all, rubbing it in my face that you can read.
I know, right? I like to do it. I'm like, Andy, what's this say? Just kidding. But yeah, so if you read the
The
credits,
worst at restaurants.
I know. That's why everyone thinks we're on a date, because I'm always like, well, what do you feel like? Because I'm not reading you the whole menu.
You know, I want mozzarella sticks.
God damn it. They don't have mozzarella sticks. The Chinese restaurant.
They should.
They have crab rangoon, which is basically mozzarella. I'll just get you crab rangoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. I looked back. November 4th is when we released our last podcast.
So it's been 3 months to the day almost.
Almost to the day. Yeah. Our apologies.
Welcome to the quarterly podcast.
Season 9.
Yeah. You know,
it's just
we've been
a
doing
new
it for a
season.
while. Yeah. We've been busy.
I mean, it was the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have my big end of the year push, and then a significant other of mine had surgery, so I had to play Florence Nightingale, and is that who that is? That's the nurse.
I don't really know if you can compare yourself to her, but yeah.
I mean, you weren't there.
Yeah, sure.
There was a lot of cannon fodder over in Sherman Oaks. But yeah.
We were just talking about the cameras.
What cameras in Sherman Oaks?
Canon?
Oh, Canon. Okay.
Canon.
Oh, cannon fodder. Woof. That was a stretch.
Man, maybe we should have stretched before this.
Cannon fodder. Wow.
First of all, that's pretty funny.
It's fairly funny. Yeah, homonyms. I get it.
I've been playing Connections.
I know. I'm on the same family chat. I guess you're telling the
Yeah, no shit.
Audience.
Hey, Chris, you know how I text you my Connections score every morning?
Also, I've been playing Connections. So
yeah, I've been playing Connections.
If you don't know what Connections is, if you play Wordle on the New York Times thing, because there's also a Wordle.com, which is another Wordle.
How it started. Wordle started as a website and the New York Times bought it, like during the craze of it all.
Okay. Fair enough. So Wordle's New York Times, you go there and then you play the Wordle. Well, then you can go on the drop-down menu and they have other games, one of which is Connections, which is a grid of 4x4 grid of one word in each square and
16 words.
16 words. Andy's good at multiplications. And then there, you have to line them up into groups of 4 and how they're related. And it could be anything from homonyms to like this word, then the word stop. And so it'd be like shortstop, bus stop.
Chris, stop.
Chris.
Yeah, everyone's playing Connections right now. It's like huge. It's like Wordle all over again.
Oh, I didn't know it was like everyone was doing it. I thought it was just our nerdy ass family.
No, everyone's playing it.
Oh, I thought just some of our family couldn't spell. So they're like, I'm going with the game where they're already spelled.
This game's harder somehow.
Yeah, I did not do well today. Oh, I didn't get it today.
Oh, I crushed it. I even got the blue ones first. Homonyms.
I think that's the only one I did get. I got 2 of them, and then I knew what it was, but I don't know. It tricked me. Anywho,
It tricked you.
uh,
It got you good, right in your
got
stupid
me good.
face. So
Oh,
I got a stand for my computer
yeah.
because I was having my laptop on my desk and then I was having like 3 chins in every meeting.
Yep.
And when we do the pod, I always like stack it on books. I'm like, why don't I just get a fucking stand?
I
And so I'm
mean,
using that. I'm using your keyboard.
oh, look at that.
I've got a mouse I ordered it this morning and it's arriving tonight.
Did you get a magic mouse?
I did.
Yeah, you got to get them. They're the best.
I know. Well, that's why my computer keeps shaking every time I touch my computer. The stand is it was $20.
Oh, it's got that $20 wiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
It's
okay. Once the mouse is here, I won't need to touch it.
it's your laptop stand / earthquake-ometer.
It's called a geigometer, you dork.
Is that what it's called?
A Geiger meter is how they measure
I
earthquakes.
think that's what they use to trap ghosts in Ghostbusters. I'm pretty sure.
What's a Geiger meter? Oh, it's what you use in radiology. Radiation.
Yeah, that didn't make any
It's
sense.
a Geiger counter. What are they
Yeah,
used for?
man.
Seismometer.
That's
Seismameter.
you just Andy, fucking bite down on your phone. I think you're having an aneurysm. Jesus Christ. Watching you try to be smart is one of the funniest things of all time.
Richter scale. Suck it.
Damn it. God damn it.
Andy Richter scale. Seismameter.
So
I don't know.
oh,
Chris, you know what I have been doing? Since I beat Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, because I'm a genius.
Man, it's really great when you beat games from 15
20
years
years ago.
20 years
It's been
ago?
20 years. Yeah. So then I hopped on a game that's a little newer, Red Dead Redemption.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they ported that for Switch also. I heard it's better than the Grand Theft Auto port.
I'm loving it. I'm porting out. It's been great. It's the only game that I've ever played that has games inside the game that I already know how to play.
Oh, not like
because you know in like
poker and shit?
Assassin. Yeah, and they have liar's dice. No one ever wants to play liar's dice with me. Now I got these dorks on the computer that don't talk, and it's awesome. I just sit there, lie about my dice, take their money.
Yeah. I think in the first one you can buy a coat where you can cheat in poker. You can stuff
You
a
can't.
card. Yeah. And once you
Yeah.
have that, it's fucking over. You just put the ace of spades in there and you're just like, wait for the other ace to show up. Fuck you, Gary. Fuck you, Frontier Gary.
I did lose with a pair of aces last night, but
I mean, it happens.
it does happen. But it's been so fun. That game is so fun. The skinning of the animals I don't find to be necessary.
Oh, well,
Like,
you
I
sell
think
their pelts and stuff, and you can make stuff out of
I
their
know, but like,
pelts.
can't I like skip the cutscene where like I literally fillet them open and the blood squirts on the screen?
In the second one, you can.
Great. Can't wait to get there.
I don't. Yeah, no. In the first one, they're like, "You're gonna watch this. This is nature. This is how it happened." Red Dead Redemption.
You're in the Wild West.
Red Dead Redemption 2 might be the best storyline of any game I've ever played. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, no, Red Dead Redemption is both those games, both the Red Dead Redemptions are great. Like, man, when the elevator pitch on it, when they're like Grand Theft Auto and the Wild Wild West, you're like, that does not sound fun in the least. And it is.
I will say it was a tough transition going from like race cars to a horse.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, come on, can't we just get there faster?
Yeah. And
the horse gets mad.
Eventually you can do, I think in the first one, eventually you can do fast travel. And so it's a little better, but,
Yeah, there's
you just
there's
pitch
a
a
version of fast
campfire.
travel. There's a version of fast travel where like you get on a cart, like a horse-drawn buggy, and you have to
Yeah.
like pay them to like skip ahead. But man, if you shoot a gun around those horses, they get real mad.
Yep. Yep. They do. Also never shoot your horse because that will
I
be
did on accident.
yeah, that's of
Did
detriment.
that day one. Did
And
that day one.
um, I
It's
like
fun though. I'm
hunting.
really
I like
enjoying it.
fishing. Yeah, it's really fun. It's
You can fish?
I believe so. And eventually in the game that you get to a point where you can just set up campfires and then fast travel that way for free.
I can set up campfires. I've only done it once just to save, so I wonder if I can do it.
Yeah. So look for that. Yeah, but man, it's been a wild couple of months. Did you go on a trip in November? Did you go
I
somewhere?
did. I went back to Mexico. I went
Yep.
back to
Say hello to
Puerto
your
Vallarta
baby.
for yeah, well, I have to stop in or else the courts come find you. Um yeah, the baby's good. Still unkillable, but that's fine.
Yeah, but it's fine. But man, when it comes to making purses, it's top 5 percentile.
It really is. And man, am I really starting to see my dividends in that. So that's nice. No, I went for our mutual friend's wedding. Matt and Jenny got married from our softball team. So yeah, went down for that. It was so hot. I'm not meant for that climate. I'm not
Yeah,
meant for the tropical jungle, like close to the equator
humid.
kind of. Oh
Yeah,
God.
just
Just
oppressive.
yeah. Just don't invite your super white friends to the climate like that because man, I couldn't be in the sun. It was too
Yeah.
hot unless I was in the pool to hear.
Do you just
I
have
was like,
like one
this
of
is
those big
nice.
brimmed hats?
No, there was a swim up bar, obviously, at the resort. So we just
Of
kind of camped
course.
out there. So that was nice.
You can always find the swim up bar. You just look for the trail of pee and where it's all congregating. You're like, that guy hasn't gotten out for 7 hours and he's had
It's me.
97 drinks. Yeah. No, I'm good on the
It
swim up
was,
bars.
well, the pool was huge. Like it was like 4 pools.
So yeah, so the pee would dilute pretty quickly. There was just so
Yeah.
much water. It was
Get over it.
parts per
Um,
million was fine.
yeah. We did a cruise, like a huge boat where Aubrey and I wore the most disgusting bikinis of all time.
Oh, the hairy belly. You look
Mm-hmm.
like it made you look like fat, hairy white guys.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. Wore that all day.
Complete with nipples.
Complete with nipples. All of our guy friends were just like, God, you look so gross.
Can you send me a photo of that so I can fucking up on the screen there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll send you the one we sent the family group chat. You know what? I don't know if I want a picture of me in a swimsuit.
Okay.
But you can imagine it.
I can take your head off of it. They won't know it's you.
Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, did the Mexico thing. It was great. It was a good time, fun with friends. Crocodiles in the ocean down there, or
Ooh,
alligators.
seawater,
Yeah,
seafaring gators.
our friend Sarah was swimming in the ocean with her fiance,
Yeah.
and they saw it. They saw its tail doing
Yeah.
this, and so they get out of the ocean, and the guys on the beach were like, "Yeah, there's gator tails out there."
I love Mexico. They're like, yeah, man, gators. They're out there, bro. Good
First
luck.
night we were at the resort, we go out, sit outside to go eat at this outside restaurant in the resort, and there's a hole in the screened-in patio right next to where I was sitting,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, 9 raccoons, all just sitting right there on the outside of this fence. And of course, Aubrey starts feeding them. And then so does the waiter.
Drunk white women. Just, I don't know. And how they, like,
We love rodents.
you've seen the videos on the internet where like a woman just straight up picks up a rack. She's just hammered. She's like just some hammered 22-year-old. She's like, look at this. And even the raccoon is like, what the fuck is happening right now?
They're so
And
cute though.
they're just riddled with rabies and fucking. I mean, blue
Well,
jays
so's
are.
Aubrey.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. That's just cousins meeting at that point, medically. Anyway.
Medically.
Well,
So that
yeah,
was fun. Hmm. Great
I,
time had by all. Got a heat rash, of course.
yeah, that's.
Happens to me every time I go to that part of Mexico.
Have you ever thought about like going to like pre-tanning, like doing that kind of thing, like prepping your body pre?
I mean, that's a good idea. Where were you
Yeah,
3 months ago?
I, I was here. We were doing a podcast.
The last time I saw you.
Yeah. uh,
Um,
yeah, man, heat rash. I remember on the Kid Rock cruise, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about it. Um, yeah, by day 4, these people were a color of red that I think you can only describe as cancer. Like, it was
I mean,
just,
there's no way they're wearing sunscreen. They're not pussies.
yeah, there was that, and they're
I'm tougher
also
than the
like,
sun.
yeah, and they're like, no, I'm coming back from this cruise looking tan as hell, and you're like, you're past tan, you're past, you
Yeah,
can't
you're
even,
scaling.
you're. Well, let's see. I had to like look back and see where I've been and what I'd been doing for the last couple of months, including a run through the Midwest. I did Omaha and Kansas City and Appleton. I got to go to the Chiefs Packer game in Lambeau.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
with my old friend Justin Leon, which was
We
super
love
neat.
Justin Leon.
And a
What
buddy of
a guy.
I have a buddy of mine on the Chiefs. His name's Austin, and he got us on the field passes. And there was a hot, but we were just like right where the Chiefs were like working out and getting ready. And Kelsey was 12 feet away from us. And at one point, he's
He's
staring
only one
right
and a
at
half Kelseys away.
he's staring at me. He starts walking towards us, and I was like, "What
Is this
is he
real?
going towards? Is this real?" And then he just turns away. And even my buddy Justin was like, "Man, I thought he was coming right up to you." And I was like, "Son of a bitch!" And
Oh man, maybe he thought you were a way cooler guy that looks just like you.
fucking fuck you and fuck your face, because I'm the
Wow, it's
coolest.
getting bright in here.
Oh, I am getting not bright. We just had a cloud cover over here in Toluca Lake. I almost said Toledo Lake, but that's not a
Not where
thing.
you live.
That's not where I live. Toluca.
Spanner meter.
But yeah. Speaking of the Chiefs, not to jump ahead, but guess who's in the motherfucking Super Bowl?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
The
Uh,
Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Unexpected, I gotta say.
I
I
wasn't
think.
expecting it.
Well, I went into the Baltimore game going, man, I just hope it's a good game and we'll see what happens. And then, man, I just kept making weird noises because we kept doing good stuff. And also, when that kick, the game before at Buffalo, when it started going straight, and then it just because Buffalo game, end of it, I'm like, oh, he'll kick the field goal. We'll have a minute 40. We'll see what happens. We've got number 15. This is great.
Yeah.
And then kick went up. I was like, kick's good. And then it just went right. And I just went like I made the weirdest noise ever. And but yeah, it's been a fun little playoff run. Man, talk about a team that made you really scared throughout the season, but have really put it together these last couple games.
It's a big stretch.
Look at
Um yeah, it's been really exciting. I don't know what my plans are for the Super Bowl, but I should come up with one soon.
yeah, I don't know what mine are. There was a quick thought about maybe going to Kansas City and watching it in Kansas City, but I have to be in Vegas like the next week, and I just I'd like to have some time
Yeah.
at home.
I have a shoot literally at 8 a.m. the next day. So
Ugh. Although my friend Micah, and I posted it in my Instagram stories, um, gave me a bottle of, it's a Super Bowl, whatever the fuck number this is, edition of,
38,
no,
58.
it's like 50, it'd be 53 or 54. Cause I think the first one we won was 50. No, 55. I don't know. You
What
know
Super
what?
Bowl is this? This is 58.
Oh, this is 58. Wow. Time flies when you're winning Super Bowls.
Well, look at me being right.
Look at you being right.
Seismameter.
So yeah. What were we talking about?
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
You're just
Uh
talking about
yeah.
the Chiefs.
Oh, where I'm going. And I have shows in Dallas the weekend before, or the weekend of, depending on how you look at it. So I'll probably just get on the first flight home and watch it somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Well, I know
watch
I don't want to host.
Andy found out her friends aren't real reactive. They're more of a they watch and learn.
Yeah, they're an audience more than helpers.
I watched the first half of the Bills game over at Andy's place, and everyone's drinking, smoking a little bit of weed, and
Ravens game.
Ravens game.
No,
No,
Bills
it was
game.
the Bills game.
It
Yeah,
was
I
the Bills
watched.
game.
So and I'm sitting in where I can't see in. I'm one of the few people that can't see into Andy's bedroom, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, oh, oh no, whoop!" And it was one of her friend's dogs shitting on the bed, and they literally just watched it happen.
Yeah.
I felt
And
bad.
I then put so much cleaner on my bed that it went to my mattress. I slept on my couch that night, which is great because it just soaked up all my friends' farts all day.
Oh, yeah. And there was a lot of queso that I had ordered, so that
Thank
half
you
of
for
that.
that. Yeah, it was just a really
First
good
off,
job on everyone's
when I
part.
brought up the idea, you were 100% behind it.
I was, and it was delicious. Thank you. I
It
wasn't being
was. Thank
sarcastic.
you, AJ's, for having the best queso in Los Angeles, or at least in the Valley. God bless America.
Speaking of food things, I last night ordered ice cream and I ordered it from that whipped place that I'm pretty sure is a money laundering front, but they make faux Dairy Queen blizzards and they have nerds. So I
Okay.
ordered a nerds blizzard and they put
Is
it
it
in one of
called
those.
what's it called? A flizzard?
It's called,
A
I don't know why
wizard? Is it
I don't
called
know
a
why it's called
wizard?
this. It's called a lick-a-dee whip.
Do you have to say that when you order it?
No. It's all through
I'll
an
have
app.
a I'll have a
So
nerds lickety whip.
lickety whip.
Like when I wouldn't
So
say baconator. Anyway,
I want that burger with the bacon on it.
just the number 6, but just a sandwich. You mean the baconator? Yes.
Ugh,
Say
yeah.
baconator. I don't want to.
No. So I look at the app and they're like, hey, your tip's been refunded because it's coming in a robot. And I'm like, God damn it. And so I was like, it's gonna be a melted puddle of bag, like in a bag. Like it's
Ah,
not
it's a
gonna be in.
robot. They can keep it cool, right?
I didn't know about ice cream. I was like, do they have a freezer compartment?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
does it just like keep it temperature regulated? Anyway, so I'm looking at its path. It's like it's gonna take 30 minutes and it's coming from Sunset and Highland,
Oh
which
yeah.
should not take
Well,
30, it would take a car 5 minutes.
it's also a lot
So
of uphill from there. Those little
yeah.
carts. Yeah.
And they had it go up Cherokee.
No, they
Which,
didn't.
yeah.
Okay, for those of you that don't know, Cherokee, which why would you know unless you're very familiar with where Andy lives,
It's a steep hill.
it's like this. Like there's a stop sign at the top of it, and every car trying to get out. It's nuts.
It's nuts. So I go out there and It's like it's approaching. I'm like, okay, great. I'm gonna go outside and see how this thing's doing. And as I'm like rounding the corner, I see my neighbor with his dog, and he's like, "Are you waiting for Austin the robot?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "That thing is struggling." So I take this video as soon as I round the corner. It's so funny. Hold on, let me share this. Okay. He got stuck.
Yeah. Normally they have someone following it for just such an occasion. That's funny. Austin the
So
robot.
it was stuck.
Yeah.
And my neighbor and I like got it back on the sidewalk. I got my ice cream out. It went right back into the grass on the way down the hill and just stopped at the bottom. We were like, it's not our problem anymore. And it just rolled through so much dog shit.
Oh. And was it cold? Was it frozen?
Completely frozen.
Yeah.
Delicious. My lickety whip was lick-a-delicious.
That's
Lick-a-delicious.
oh,
I know what it sounds like.
I know.
I hear
delicious.
it. It's funny.
Okay. All right.
The sun is right on my back.
That's I think that's good, right? I got the sun on my back and everything's
I got
great.
sun on my back and your dad in my mouth.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Come on, that's funny.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
Otto?
Mom? Yeah, there was also a couple, we missed a
Ah,
couple holiday. I mean, we didn't miss them. We just didn't pod during
the
Thanksgiving
holidays.
or
Yep.
Christmas. Thanksgiving, the parents for
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Thanksgiving,
they
the
abandoned
parent.
us.
One of us is over it.
Well, you were there already. You got to spend like over a week with them already. And then they were like, you know what? We've had enough of Chris. We don't want to see either one of you. So we're not coming out anymore.
Yeah. So mom and dad were supposed to come out with me for Thanksgiving after I had shows that week in Kansas City. And the week before I was in Omaha, so dad literally drove up to Omaha, came and hung out, and then we drove back down to Kansas City. And so yeah,
Where do you hang out in Omaha? Runza?
the hotel and the comedy club. And I
Yeah.
think we went to the shadiest Brio ever.
Brio, no.
Brio. Yeah. To be fair, our family priest was nearing death,
Yeah.
including had already had a friends moment where we had gotten text messages where Father Dawn had died, and then we're like, oh no. And so dad calls a friend of ours that's very close to Father Dawn and was like, so sorry about Father Dawn. And she's like, what are you talking about? I just talked to him 4 minutes ago. He's still alive. And apparently there'd been a miscommunique and he was still alive. But
Death hoax. Father Dawn death hoax. Happens to everybody.
Happened to Bon Jovi, happened to Father Don Jovi. Anywho, but he was very close to the end, and there was another reason they weren't that they.
Bella was really sick.
Oh, and Bella, their dog got sick, and so they decided to hang back. And speaking of things that got to hang back, all of those miles. Anywho,
That's nice.
yeah, they never returned. Anywho, so yeah, so it was
They never
kind
gave you
of
your miles back?
no. Well, I think when you cancel day before, you're not really entitled to much.
Day of.
Anywho, yeah. So anywho, um, what happened? Also, not a big deal. They were not
Yeah.
expensive mileage wise. So
I was gonna say American Airlines is just being turds.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and then we'll get to what happened later. Anywho, so it was more of an improvisational Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then but Christmas was great. We had a great Christmas. I came in hot on Christmas Eve, which was
Mm-hmm.
was like a John Hughes movie where I flew in and immediately went to Christmas Eve like, hey, everything's great. I'm a successful businessman. Boop, 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 but I love my family. It's a
We're like,
John Hughes
he
movie.
didn't sleep. He thinks he's a businessman.
Yep.
He didn't sleep at
Uh
all. It's going to be a rough night.
well, I'm incorporated now, so technically I'm a CEO.
Oh, wow.
Uh
Look at you. CEO.
Anywho, but yeah, it was we had a great Christmas.
It was awesome. It was so good.
You got a bunch of La Crusette stuff, which is, you know,
I'm cooking like a motherfucker up in here. I got an air fryer,
oh,
which is
you
more like
did.
an adult easy bake oven.
I, first off, yeah, you can call it that, but and that's fine because they're great. They're
I
amazing.
love it.
Mine's right there. Whoop, there's the top of it. It's a 5-way. It's also an indoor grill and
Ooh,
a couple of other things that I haven't utilized.
mine's a 6-in-1.
A sixth, man. What's the sixth one?
It does my taxes, which is, I
Get
don't know
the
if I
fuck
trust
out of
it,
here. You just
but
put the
yeah.
receipts in, it just spits it right out.
Yeah, but I did put a bunch of receipts in there yesterday and they just caught on fire. So
Oh,
I
you
think it
had
was
it
on
on
the wrong
air
setting.
fry.
Yeah.
Or
So there goes March.
uh but yeah, and then we had a real quick well, what'd you do for New Year's?
I went to Belinda and Emmanuel's and we celebrated a 9 p.m. ball drop
Oh,
and
nice. East Coast ball drop.
East Coast ball drop. But then his sister and husband were staying with them. So they came home around 11. And so I was still there around midnight, but
Oh,
left shortly
nice.
after.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Very, uneventful, but in the best way.
I had chosen Raleigh. And then, standard, do a show, walk off stage, walk back on stage 3 minutes later, count backwards from 10, and call it a night. And then I
There
flew to
you go.
Phoenix. Yeah. Spent a couple
Do you
days
count
just
a little faster just to get out of there on time? You're like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bye.
I remember one time they told me I was with the with the Chris Robinson Brotherhood for New Year's, and they had decided that I was going to go up and do the countdown while they were
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of this jam. And then Brian, the tour manager, gave me the thing or gave me the signal a minute early. And like I started the countdown and everyone, you just saw people looking at their phones like, no, no. And so that was awkward. Um,
You're
so
like
now
79,
70,
78,
yeah,
76.
we started this so early. I'm sorry, someone signaled me incorrectly. But
That's
yeah.
funny.
And then we made a real quick turnaround because we went back to Kansas City because I had a beer named after me.
He did.
In Lee
Chris
Summum's
Porter.
the Chris Porter. And
Chris Porter.
and I know what you're thinking, Chris. I didn't know you drank porters. I don't, but my name is Porter. So you have to go with
Real hole in one there.
a real just fucking right down Broadway. And
Yep.
also, when it comes to beers, I'm kind of a basic bitch. I do the fucking hazy IPAs, and
Yep.
there's enough of those. So, but as porters go, it was fucking phenomenal. I was
It
like,
was so good.
it was very good. It was a cinnamon roll porter, a little bit of orange in it, and it was very dry, very smooth, and very nice.
Very nice.
And then I did some time, and unfortunately, it was on a weekend
Did some time.
where the temperature in Kansas
Federal.
City was -9, I think, during the day or some shit.
That wasn't bad.
God damn it. Then the next day we went up to Lawrence and this fucking polar bear fucking so Andy, Lawrence, Kansas, home of the University of Kansas, the Jayhawks, if you don't know, 6-time national champions of basketball. Um, Also Andy's alma mater. I went there for a year. until they asked me not to come. So, but yeah, still a
But do you know what the
place.
benefit of the asking you to leave is? I bet they don't hit you up for money all the time.
They don't at all, Andy. They just assume I don't have it, which fucking joke's on you,
I get like
Jayhawks.
3 emails a day that it's like, Andy, have you considered donating? And it's like, we gave enough for this
Yeah, you're like
education.
fucking. There was a lot of money we gave you. I think that was the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so always been huge Jayhawks fan in our family. We've had many Jayhawk. Our uncle played for the Jayhawks. He played football in the 80s. Andy went there. She was in the theater department. Did very well for herself. And I think that covers it. Anywho, but we've always been huge Jayhawk fans. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go see a Jayhawk game while we're in town. So we went to the Kansas Oklahoma game, got us some really good tickets, got us some nice hotel rooms,
It's
and
amazing.
just made a day of it. The game was fucking awesome. We won. Got to see some friends. It was -11, and then Andy always has fun. Andy's always a bucket of fun, and she apparently
I
doesn't
had a
feel
lot of
temp.
fun.
She had a lot of fun, and she wanted.
To be fair, I hadn't been there in a decade.
Yeah,
So I was like, let's fucking go.
you were let's fucking go, and you fucking went.
I did. And I
And
dragged you all with me.
and so she was like, I want to go watch it was the Miami game, the Chiefs Miami game. She was like, I want to go watch this at Thelma's. Louise's. So I knew it was one of them.
Thelma's the robot stuck on Cherokee.
Anyway, we went to Louise's, which was 3 blocks away, which isn't far. Like 3 blocks, usually not a problem. In subarctic temperatures, had a huge issue with it. Even mom and dad are like, we don't. There's a bar in the hotel, and Andy's like, we are not staying at this fucking bar. We're going to Louise's, and we went. And to be fair, it was a great time. Andy had 19 flagons of Coors Light.
First of all, they were schooners. I had 2.
Do you have a photo of those things? You got to send me just a photo of the flagon because it was
Yeah,
a giant.
I do. Hold on.
It
I have a
looked
photo
like
of me in the schooner.
it looked like a glass that was on the ledge in Indiana Jones 3 when he had to choose wisely. And it was one of the ones where you're like, that's obviously not it, but it was a good try. But and Andy was just burying them.
There she is.
Damn. Can you bring it out a little bit? There it is. Look at that thing. The fact that it may be schooner in ounces, but it is flagon shaped.
Look at the frost on the outside. Delicious. And then hold on. And then there's I took a video of us walking back to the hotel because Chris was so mad.
It
so
was
mad at
so
me.
cold. It was so cold. Mom and dad had gotten a ride with Andy's friend. There wasn't room for all of us because Andy's friend had kids, so there were baby seats. So mom and dad got a ride, and it was so cold. And there, I was so mad. That looks like the face of a person who just murdered someone and got caught and knows they're getting their photo taken.
It looks like the Dwight as a pervert sketch.
I was so Andy, damn it. Damn it. I'm so mad at you.
It's dead on. The mustache, the beard, it's so good.
Oh, I hate you. I hate this podcast. Anyway.
I had media ready to go.
Dude, it hurt. Because I had already I have a bag that has disappeared. American, it never came down the chute. American Airlines doesn't know where it is. There's no hide or hair of it. So I had to so the trip didn't start really the rest of the trip was fucking amazing, other than the fact that we had to go on this shopping spree because I had no clothes.
You crushed it though. We were done in like 90 minutes.
Yeah, like I know where to get the things. I was, when you travel all the time, you're like, okay, what do I need? And you just like
Yeah.
kind of mentally pack a bag in your head. But also I didn't want to spend too much money because I have plenty of clothes at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Rally House and I bought hoodies
Mm-hmm.
galore. And
Galore.
I went everywhere looking like I'd just gotten out of a volleyball tournament. And it was fine. It was absolutely fine. Um, but yeah, there's pictures of me doing comedy at the brewery, and I have a beanie and a fucking KU sweatshirt. I'm just like, it looks like I got surprised with comedy, like that I had to do a set. Uh, but then the
Oh, that's
fun
good.
weekend came to a quick crash when I had to do jury duty, and
That's right. That's
fucking
right. Oh
which
man, what a
which
week.
Andy and I both get called. You get called every 2 years in California, and some people I know have never been called ever,
Yeah.
and we get called as soon as you can get called.
I think it's
And
because we're on the up and up with like our taxes, paying our registration on our cars.
I guess so. What no good deed goes unpunished, I
No
guess.
shit.
But every time I've done it, either I think of the 4 times I've been called before, I 2 times I didn't get called into, because you have to basically before now you do it online, but before you called in the night before and they'd be like, you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to come in or you have to come in. And the 2 times that I did get called in, I just sat in a room and did stuff on the internet until 4 o'clock came. And
Yeah.
then they let me go
Would you
home.
fuck me? I'd fuck me. Sir, you can't be doing that in here.
Oh, my AirPods are in. They're like, we can
I-
still hear. You're
You said I could
mouthing
do
along
internet
with it.
stuff.
We're back.
The sun is like creeping. I need to like find where here we go.
And so I show up. It's a new room. I'm like, yay, new room. It's all well done. And so, like, I have this list of things I have to get done, and I'm knocking out the first one. And the first one I thought I had to build a website for Campfire Astronauts. I thought it was going to take 2 hours, and I had it knocked out in 15 minutes. And so I was like, what the fuck am I going to do today? And then they start reading off all these names. And I thought they were just doing roll because I got my name called and it seemed like pretty much everyone got their name called. And then it ended. And I was like, that wasn't everybody. And they're like, you guys go over to hold on. Something happened. Don't know what's happening. There it is.
Oh
Hold on.
no.
Okay. Sorry. Could you hear that?
No, what was that?
It, all of a sudden the Black Crows started playing.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, what? Anywho, I think what happened was, so this left one, I have a hard time keeping in. And so I adjust it. And sometimes if I don't hold it very long, it thinks I mean for it to start playing music. Cause if you just touch it,
Have you tried other earhole covers?
I need to find the pack of them and see if, apparently I
I
have,
also have so many packs.
oh, good. Cause I guess I have uneven ears. Anywho,
Well,
uh,
yeah.
So I think we're going. So we go to this other courthouse. I think we're just going to another jury pool room. And no, we walk into a courtroom with lawyers and a judge. And I'm like, fuck. And then, so the first 3 hours is just people giving their excuses to get out of it. And apparently, shows in Sacramento is not high on the list. And she goes, where are your shows? Or she goes, what kind of shows are there? I go, stand up comedian. And then later on, when we were at lunch, I just happened to be walking out with 4 dudes and we all just start talking. And one guy's like, what about all these excuses? And one guy goes, yeah, that one guy said he was a stand up comic. What? And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's me. And he was like, oh. And so, anywho, go back, she immediately says, we're not going to get this done today. And I'm just thinking of anything that I can say to get me the fuck out of this jury, as is everybody. And apparently, like, have you ever, like, I always wondered why, like, people have lived in this country for a long time and never learned, like, any of the language at all. And I think it's literally to get out of jury duty. And I don't blame them because
Genius.
as soon as you can't speak English, they're like, bye. And if that's all it takes, I'm gonna start forgetting words. And anywho,
Don't worry. It's the seismameter.
so uh it's a civil case. Long story short, this guy didn't this guy didn't go to the doctor for like 7 days and then says he had all kinds of spinal injuries. And I'm like, you
Like after
know,
an accident, you mean?
yeah, I was like, hey man, I've rolled an ankle. I've done a bunch of shit to my body. And by day 3, you fucking know. And this other guy said stuff. And like, I'm literally saying whatever I can. And we break, we go. And so now I have to come back on Monday. And you were there the whole weekend. I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. This sucks so bad. I might have to cancel Sacramento to fucking judge this stupid ass case. Because at this point, you know, in your head, you're like, yeah, I may not look as good to the plaintiff, but I might look really good to the defendant for all the dumb shit I just said. And so the whole weekend, I'm just like, I hope I get out of this. And then we walk in Monday morning, they take roll, and then immediately the judge starts talking, and she's like, I'm relieving of this duty and this duty. And then she's like, you're all dismissed. They had settled and
Great.
over the weekend. And then I walked out.
Also,
And
like, can't they just call you and tell you that? Like, do I have to come in?
it seems like they could have sent an email for sure.
Yeah, but they probably have to do it like officially inside the court. But like, what about a Zoom?
And then we also had to go back to the other room and get our little releases. And but I walked out, and then I realized that like apparently everyone had remembered what I had said, because as we're walking out, everyone's like, hey, you can make your shows now. Hey, you can make your shows now. To the point where I was like, this is a bit embarrassing. And but
You guys
yeah,
want to come to my shows?
but also I've never seen 60 people walk out of a courthouse. Like, it was almost like the beginning of or the end of a musical where like the protagonist had won the case, and we're all like, hey, yeah, everybody's great. Dee. We don't have to serve in the jury today. Do. Screaming at me.
Just kissing strangers.
Just swinging on light poles and shit.
Where do the fireworks come from?
Oh, that's just downtown Los Angeles. We should
Oh,
we should
man.
probably duck. Uh Look at him. He's great.
Look at him.
I didn't even look to see if we had listener mail, just because it's been so long. It's, it's probably
I didn't even
questions.
prep stories.
Oh, I have a story just in case we forgot about the last 3 months. And
I think we're okay.
I think we're fine. Man, this was a lot of fun. It's a lot
Yeah.
easier when you don't do them very often, because you're like,
It really is. We have so
got
much more to
plenty
talk
of
about,
shit.
you know?
As opposed to like fucking, it is good to get in depth on some stories, but sometimes we're just like,
Yeah.
so what else did you do last week? And really,
Ugh.
really think about it.
I might have to go through all my lunches. I'll go through my lunches. I made.
Oh man. And listen, folks, it's not that we don't mind or don't love doing this podcast. It's just
We do. It's just we're busy. We're booked and busy.
Yeah.
And
So
we've been doing this for what, 5 years, 5 years now.
we don't, yeah. And
4 years.
and we don't
We've said it all, right?
we've said it all, but we're gonna keep saying it, because when I've been at the shows, people are like, where's the fucking podcast? And when we call our parents, one of
Dad's
them
like, where's
is
the
like,
fucking podcast?
Mom could give a fuck, but Dad,
Oh my God.
is like,
I shared a room with them in Lawrence, and man, as soon as I woke up, where's the podcast? No, I'm just kidding. As soon as I opened, like, I barely even moved, and he was like, morning, chainsaw. It's like, thank you. Good morning, Dad. Like I didn't fucking suffer through your snoring that rattled the entire house for the better part of
decades.
2 decades.
Well, this was fun. It's good to see you all again. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
We'll try
Yeah.
to do it.
Surprise.
Ta-da! We're not dead. Nor is the
Yeah.
podcast.
Well, on the outside.
Womp womp. Anywho, we love you guys. We will see you soon.
Hopefully.
As always, I'm Chris Porter.
I'm Andi Porter.
This has been the 1 millionth podcast. Fuck you.
Come on by.
I did it.
Do do do
I
do.
did it.
Do 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 do.
Meow.